a great opportunity at the end of the year for businesses to take advantage of, because what we're talking about here, why does this matter for end of year, right? It's kind of my point. Taxes. So if you're running a business and you have some profits coming into year end, if they're just sitting in your bank account, so to speak, you're going to pay taxes on those profits. So usually business owners are going to try to whittle that down responsibly where it makes sense for tax purposes. So the advantageous part about marketing is it's 100% tax deductible expense. Welcome back to Local SEO Tactics, where we bring you tips and tricks to get found online. I'm your host, Jesse Dolan, joined in this episode by Bob Brennan, Sue Ginsberg. How are you two doing today?
Another day in paradise.
Wow. Hold on, another day in paradise. What's going on, Sue? That sounds pretty nice.
I get to talk to you two.
All right. Now she's just telling jokes, Bob. Okay. So, Sue, what do we have for a topic on this episode here today?
Today, as we march into December, we are thinking about year end and everything that means for our business and holidays and personally. So today we are going to talk about how to spend for year end. Talk about some good ways you can invest in your online marketing to set your business up for success from day one of the new year, to get in some last minute sales for the rest of this month. All of the above works, and that's what we're going to talk about. The quote of the day today is, in the world of internet customer service, it's important to remember your competitor is only one mouse click away. That is a quote by Doug Warner, who was a journalist, 13-time Emmy winner with 43 nominations and 4-time Reporter of the Year, KSLA. I love that quote. It's good for us all to remember how easy it is for someone to click off and onto someone else's website that's not yours. Okay, today I will share, back in the day when I worked for some very big Fortune 500 companies, it was common practice at year end to look at your marketing budget and to prepay for marketing services next year from this year's budget if you had enough left to cover things for a variety of reasons. This was done in the big company world, so you didn't get your budget reduced for next year. It was also done to ensure you finished your year end strong if there were things that you could do that would have that quick of an impact. And again, to set up your next year to start strong by putting these things in place now. While not all companies have the mentality of using up their marketing budget for a last minute push or to prepay, a lot of businesses do. You don't have to be a big business to be thinking that way. So whether it is for budgeting or other reasons, we've thought about and think about and are thinking about some different ways that you can be smart in your year-end investment and do some things that will help you out for the rest of the year, for next year, for tax reasons, for business reasons, whatever. Then I would say, before I toss it to Jesse and Bob, some things to think about. How long has it been since you've had a website update? In today's world, an old website is 2 years old, or a 2-year-old website is an old website, and sometimes even less than that, depending on if your services have changed or other things. How about your logo? Does it still represent you? Does it look current? Does it look old? Is it communicating your business like you want it to be communicating your business? Logo updates are now happening more frequently than ever. It can be a tweak or it can be a change, depending on how you answer those questions. Maybe year end is a good time to find and fix some technical things that you've been waiting to do, or lots of other ways that you can invest in online marketing and use this year's budget to help yourself for the rest of the year and to set yourself up well for next year. So I would like to hear from you, Jesse and Bob, from an SEO and a business owner standpoint, and help us be smarter as we go into the end of the year. We still have a few good weeks left to be working on this, and it may make all the difference in the world.
Great topic. So Sue, yes, this is something that's a great opportunity at the end of the year for businesses to take advantage of, because what we're talking about here, why does this matter for end of year, right? It's kind of my point. Taxes. So if you're running a business and you have some profits coming into year end, if they're just sitting in your bank account, so to speak, you're going to pay taxes on those profits. So usually business owners are going to try to whittle that down responsibly where it makes sense for tax purposes. So the advantageous part about marketing is it's 100% tax deductible expense. So let me pull up some stuff here, straight from the IRS, just to kind of recite for everybody. Marketing is 100% tax deductible. The tax law allows businesses to deduct expenses that help them bring in new customers and keep existing ones. These costs may include expenses for advertising and marketing. Advertising and marketing costs must be ordinary and necessary to be tax deductible. So what does that mean? Something that's going to pass the eye test, right? We're going to talk websites. We're going to talk some SEO. You can do billboards, other stuff. If it's just traditional marketing that you or businesses in your space would do. Also, a necessary expense is one that is helpful and appropriate. This is from the IRS. Helpful and appropriate for the trade or business. An expense does not have to be indispensable to be considered necessary. And I'm highlighting that because when they say necessary, you may think something is a little bit luxurious to you, maybe some new campaign or some new initiative that you weren't considering. It's not necessary from like a critical business operations, right? But you think this will bring you new customers and you think this is necessary in that process, then it should be a deductible expense. All the things we're going to talk about here today are going to be ones that you can consider for this. And another reason it's advantageous for marketing is this is a space, like Sue said, people can either prepay for maybe a subscription you already have, or maybe you're going to invest into a new initiative that you haven't already thrown money at. The cool part with marketing, particularly digital marketing, with the services that Intrix provides, particularly, is you can throw the money at it now and you can get the deliverable after the first of the year. You can get those deliverables in 2024. Let's just talk about a website. Sue mentioned that, right? Maybe it's been a while since you've updated or threw some new paint on your website, or maybe you are a new business and you need a website. You don't even have one. Either way, you can't just whip up a website in one day, right? It takes a bit of a process to do it the right way for your brand, for your identity, and then also for setting the foundation for SEO. And maybe you just don't have the time between now and the end of the year personally to commit for your business to that new website or the updated website. Well, that's fine. You can still pay for it or put a down payment on it, right? Any expense you put towards that website can still be tax deductible and count for this fiscal year that you're in, even if your actual initiative carries into or doesn't really start until next year for the bulk of the work. So these things are fine. The key thing here that we're talking about is this is a way for you to draw down your profits and spend some money on this year's books for accounting while starting those initiatives and really realizing this investment into next year. So that's different than maybe, buying a vehicle or other capital expenses that businesses may consider at this time of the year. This is one that actually is an investment into your company, right? To drive growth, drive sales, and increase your profits for next year. So we wanted to take the chance for this episode to really highlight a few areas here for businesses to consider as you're going into 2024. And we don't usually do this, but shameless plug, of course. Like I said, these are things that we can help you with. So if you're at the 11th hour, we're a couple of weeks from the end of the year here, and you want to get going, get a hold of us. Reach out to us through localseotactics.com or intrix.com. And we are happy to discuss any of these initiatives with you for what the budget may be, what the timelines may be, and what your investment is, things like that. All right. So kind of setting the stage there from a legal, tax, technical perspective, and why. I guess an accounting perspective is maybe the best way to put it. Let's talk about what some of these options are in the digital space. So actually, let me back up. This first bullet point I have here isn't digital, it's related to it. But I want everybody to think about this equipment, right? So if you're doing marketing, maybe you're going to start recording some videos, right? You need to buy a camera for that content, things like that. So we're going to go through everything else on this list is very much kind of more service driven or digital, but also think about maybe some of the equipment or tangible assets that you may need to produce this content or to do this type of marketing. Those are going to be able to be accounted for in the same way. I'm no tax law expert, but yeah, if it's a larger expense, maybe it is then a capital investment and you got depreciation. It's not 100% write off this year. That's a whole different aside. But definitely consider any equipment or these tangible assets that you may need to do the marketing. That can be considered part of what we're talking about here. So easy things to look at. Sue, you did mention this earlier, but I just want to reiterate it, is the subscriptions and the things that you're already paying for. Most vendors and service providers are going to be able to accept prepayment, probably some kind of a discount if you're going to pay for a quarter or a year in advance instead of monthly. It's pretty common that you're going to get some kind of discount for doing that. And that's something, if you're happy with that service and that investment, take advantage, right? Prepay, spend the money now in 2023, pay for your services in 2024, and get a discount at the same time. That's always something really good to consider. Another one is going to be consultation. Maybe it's starting a retainer or paying for a block of hours. Again, you're kind of investing into something now and then saving that for down the road. If you have a particular initiative, let's just talking like website, maybe you want some consultations on design or some voice of customer surveys to tap into your audience, whatever it is, you can consider any that consultation type stuff as well here if it's in the marketing space. So we've talked about website a few times. Moving on to the next point here. This is one that we always encourage people to look at. It's not something that's cheap for a new website or to revamp your website or maybe to expand it, whatever it is. But it's definitely something from an SEO perspective that's pretty critical, right? You have to have the content on your website that you want to be found for. Bob, we have lots of episodes where we talk about not just having the content or the keywords, but it has to look the right way. If you're looking for a certain widget, gadget, or whatever your keyword is you're searching for, when you land on that page for the website, you then need to convert. So even if your website's doing good for SEO or from a content perspective, maybe you need some better visual assets, right? A better look to it, work on that conversion rate, things like that. So a website would be a great investment to throw money at now, and it's going to pay you those dividends in 2024 and beyond. And if you haven't updated your website in a while, let's say like the last 3 years, definitely consider that. A lot has changed in what can be done with websites now from a technical perspective, and just the current modern look. Pretty easy for people to jump on a website and develop an opinion on if they trust this company or not, just based off of how it compares to everybody else. So probably our A1 on the list here to consider for year-end spending. And actually, I teased Bob and Sue that I was going to say this, but I haven't yet. How to spend for year-end, website would be your number one option on that as far as we're concerned. So piggybacking on the website, Bob, this is your favorite area and probably your A1 from an ROI standpoint on investment is anything you can do for your GBP, your Google Business Profile. I think there's a couple different paths we can go down on this. One is if you're not paying for anybody to do SEO and optimization on your GBP right now, definitely consider that. If you're not ranking as good as you think you should, or maybe don't have the reach in your metro area that you think you should, or just haven't given it any attention, even if you have a GBP, but it hasn't had any SEO applied to it, definitely consider that. all of these areas as well. Again, shameless plug. If you're unsure if it needs investment or maybe where you're at, like, is this good enough or not? We can help you assess that as well. And we'll give you an honest opinion on that to tell you what's good and what's bad. So not just either creating, optimizing, revamping, whatever it is, your GBP, but reviews on your GBP. This is something that is huge for the ranking of your GBP, for the reach of your GBP, and just for the opinion people will have of you. We say this all the time. There's, for the map pack, for the GBP rankings, there's usually 3 of them that are going to show up in the results. Normal convention is you're at the top, that's the best, which I'm not disagreeing with, but there can be a scenario where you're the 3rd, but you have twice the reviews that everybody else has. You're going to get that click and you're going to get the opportunity for that business based off those reviews that you have. So in addition to your GBP at large, investing into reviews. Now that can be coaching, consultation, training your team. We always say and have the best results with actually asking for reviews in person, right? Like face to face, human to human. Usually people aren't comfortable with that, right? So training your team and having some coaching sessions and some accountability for that, packages for that are going to be a great investment. In addition to that, there's automated software solutions or apps that will help you collect reviews. Wouldn't do that only, right? You still want to do the face-to-face, but the automation will supplement and help you get more reviews for people that maybe couldn't do it right there on the spot, or it just wasn't convenient, or whatever it is. You're going to get a few more percentage points of overall audience, right? Leaving your reviews if you deploy some type of automated solution to help you get more reviews. And that's going to mean sending out text messages or emails to people to leave reviews. In addition to the actual collecting of the reviews, usually these automated solutions for reviews are going to give you reporting capabilities, allow you to maybe integrate your reviews that you're getting on your profile to your website, right? To kind of show that edification and tie those together. In addition to other analytics and tool sets that come with the automation that really help everything in the visibility and the understanding of your review landscape, not just collecting them. So just to recap that point, investing into your GBP, optimizing it, getting more reviews on it, both from an automated and a team training, person-to-person approach, going to be a huge benefit to you for your business. And again, you can throw money at these things now in 2023 and have these initiatives start to roll out and really make an impact in 2024. Hey everyone, just a quick message about our free SEO audit tool on localseotactics.com, and we'll get right back to the show. If you haven't taken advantage of it yet, go on out to localseotactics.com/free SEO audit, or look for the yellow button up in the top right corner, click that, and it's going to take just a couple seconds. You enter in the page that you want to optimize, what you're looking for the audit to score against. Enter in that page, enter in the keyword you're looking to get optimized for, and enter in your email address, click the button, and it's going to take a few seconds, and then it's going to send you off a PDF report via email. It's a great report. It's going to kind of give you an overall score of some vital SEO areas for that page and for your website at large, even though it's auditing this page. That's going to tell you some of the good things that are happening, some of the bad things that are happening too, and give you basically a checklist of some things that you need to shore up and what you can do to improve your SEO for that page, for that keyword that you're auditing. Now you can use this as many times as you want. You can do multiple keywords, multiple pages, multiple keywords on the same page. You can even use this to check against your competitors, right? If you want to do a little reverse engineering, see how they're scoring for a certain keyword, what they may be doing good that you're not, and some things to improve there. So lots of different ways to use it, completely free. Again, go on to localseotactics.com/free SEO audit, or look for the yellow button in the top right corner of the website.
All right. So from my perspective as a business owner, the best return on money that I've seen as far as digital marketing goes is the GBP, and money spent in that area. Let's just say, I've been in business in a while, and I go through this every year. If there's years where there's actually a profit, like, I want to buy a pickup truck or, a Tesla or whatever the deal is. And, so your payments are typically $1,000 to $1,200 a month for something like that, right? But you get that big bang up front, and I'm not a tax advisor, so, you know, I'm not here to do your taxes. Talk to your tax person. I'm just saying, psychologically, you've worked hard all year, and you want some kind of, you know, recognition for that. So in your mind as a business owner, you want a Tesla, you want some kind of Scooby snack. Say, hey, look what I did, and it isn't that you don't deserve it. You deserve it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you can take that money and invest it in GBP work and SEO work, come next year, it's a no brainer. You go get two of them if you want. But the point is that the money you're going to spend on let's say a truck or car payment, if you spend that or a good portion of it this year on GBP, it will blow your mind within what, 30 to 60 days, Jess, would you say is a reasonable to get in the 3-pack? Now, that's not something I know we can do, and there's other agencies that can do that. But more importantly, that's just the beginning. You're going to, again, have to get reviews and understand that you not only will get you the 3-pack, but you've got to get 2 or 3x of whatever your competition has for reviews, in order to get the crazy results that we're talking about. So that's the number one place I'd put my money. If I had stupid, crazy money, I would find somebody that's really good at Google Ads. We're not. We can make some recommendations. I personally have never seen what I think is great return on that. But then again, I'm not in a business where, let's say, it's crazy margins. And I don't know what that would be. Maybe mortgage business, maybe real estate. I don't know. But the businesses I've been involved with, when we've gone down that road, they don't get their money back. But that, again, every business is different, and you got to have different margins. And every Google ad company out there is different. I have yet to find the one that's the unicorn that can give me my money back. So that's my 2 cents, Jess. Back to you.
So yeah, Bob, I think you're dead on that. The GBP is, and I'm not saying like earlier that a website should be considered above GBP. It was just, an area definitely to consider. And earlier on the bullet point, but from an ROI perspective, yeah, any money you're going to throw at that GBP, if done properly, if getting reviews, there's some asterisks like you mentioned, right? But that's going to give you a quick return. And it's also not going to be a multi-week or even multi-month process like maybe a new website development would be, right? Where there's just a lot more layers and people involved and stuff to vet out. GBP is pretty straightforward, and getting reviews pretty straightforward once you get on board with it. So I think that's stellar. And then we also did mention like Google Ads real quick. So let's go through a few things that we don't necessarily provide, but are still in marketing space, digital marketing space particularly, that everybody should consider for the year-end spending here. Social media, right? Whether it be yourself or another firm, could be just like a GBP. You have to optimize it. Same thing for your social profiles. You should be optimizing those and making sure they're on brand. So maybe just a quick once over on something like that, or maybe you want some kind of managed campaign or efforts, whatever it is. Social media, paid ads like pay-per-click, local service ads, things like that in Google are definitely going to be on the board for you to throw money at. The thing with, how should I say this the right way? And again, like Bob said, I'm not tax expert either, right? So take this information at your own risk. The thing with an agency and a firm like Intrix is we can take an order and we can invoice you for the GBP work, for website work, whatever it is, and then execute it in the weeks and months ahead to help you spend the money now for things that you need right next year. Now, for paid ads and Facebook ads and some of this stuff that's going through the large companies and not somebody like Intrix, if you're going to turn on your Google ads, whatever money you spend is happening right now, right? So like you can spend a lot of money between now and December 31st, but then that's done, right? You can't prepay for some of these things you can for a website or some of these other services or retainer or subscriptions. So just think about that as we talk about things you can do in the digital space. Depending who you're throwing the money at, this can be more or less advantageous to you. And I think that definitely pushes the needle towards the side of Intrix in this discussion for what we're talking for business owners, right? You're looking to throw cash at something to bring your tax bill down and capture those benefits going forward, not just for the next 3 weeks. A couple other spots on here, though, that I do want to get into is so if you're out there, if you're listening, and maybe your SEO is decent and you're not looking for somebody to just come on and take things over, but you can do supplemental services like a technical audit on your website and your kind of a broad review of what you're doing for SEO, some keyword analysis, some keyword mapping, competitive analysis, really a lot of the things that are done either annually or biannually for the services that we do. If you haven't done any of this stuff for a while, again, it's a great spot. You can throw some money at it, get that feedback, and then incorporate it into your plans for next year for your strategies. And for those strategies, something to consider is also, what are you doing for multimedia? So here at Intrix, we have a service we call Content Accelerator, which is pretty similar to actually the podcast or the YouTube you're listening and watching us right now. It's creating content in multimedia fashion, but also using it on your website and for SEO. So maybe you've been thinking about starting a podcast. Maybe you've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel or relaunching your blog, because most companies have a blog that they did 7 of them 3 years ago and then they stopped, right? And you want to maybe get back on that horse and start it up again. Our service Content Accelerator is great for all of that. Capturing the video, the audio, putting it into a blog post. Just a great way to turbocharge your content and get out there in a lot of ways. Back to a point I made earlier about maybe some equipment, right? If you're going to launch a podcast or a YouTube show, maybe you need some equipment for that as well. We can help you get all that lined up, get the right stuff, prepay for some services, things like that, and go ahead and launch your show. That's going to help your SEO, your content, and that stuff can also be repurposed for social media. There's a ton of great benefits to consider if you want to go down that multimedia path for your marketing. Definitely have that on your list coming into the end of the year. And in that same space, just like from an overall brand standpoint, 2 other big areas here to consider would be brand guidelines and maybe a revamp of your logo. Just like your website, every once in a while, people want to revamp the logo to keep up with modern looks, feels, whatever it is. Maybe they're changing the culture or the direction of your business and a new logo makes sense. For whatever the reason is, a new logo can be something where you can throw the money at it now and then work that out over the coming weeks and months. Because again, it shouldn't be a quick process. That should be something, if you're going to throw some money at it, you go through some iterations, right? And really make that yours. So logo is great. And then also brand guidelines, which is kind of going even deeper into your culture, your brand, and your look. We had an episode a few back with Taylor here from Intrix on talking about some of these things. But just to reiterate what brand guidelines are, simplify it down. Imagine having a PDF that you could have in your back pocket that showed if you have one or maybe various logos or representations, that would show your logos, the different color schemes to use them, how to represent them. If you have particular fonts, right, that are your fonts that you selected for your brand to use on your website, in your logo, in your marketing, color schemes, mood, a lot of stuff like that on a document or on a file. And this comes in really handy when you maybe need to get business cards or get a new website, right? Or really have your logo and your brand used in any fashion. If anybody's out there ever maybe gotten hats embroidered, right, or something else, maybe the company you're working with has to recreate your logo, remaster your logo, or they didn't represent it right. Having these brand guidelines makes it real easy to give them this document and say, hey, I'd like to do this project or create this thing, and here's how this logo should be represented. They have all the colors they need. They have the kind of the dimensions, all the specs that they need, and how you want it to be represented for margin, for placement, for font, for things like that. So it's a little investment into these guidelines, but then once you have them, all that other stuff is so much easier and it's on brand and on point. And then if you can envision, if somebody does go to your YouTube channel, to your podcast, to your social media, to your website, sees your truck in the parking lot, sees your hat, sees your polo, whatever it is, it's the same color scheme, right? It's the same logo, the same representation. I think we've all encountered brands where maybe that gets a little disjointed sometimes. Investing into brand guidelines helps you kind of unify all that and make sure that you have that same representation no matter what. And over time, just the consumers really, really tie all that in together and really recognize you, even if it's just a quick glance. So something to consider there as well. So I think we can probably wrap it up here. That's a pretty good list, I think, for everybody. If you are sitting on some cash, which not everybody is, and hopefully if you are, you're going to do something with it instead of just giving it all to Uncle Sam, since you're in that desirable position. And hopefully, if you're going to choose to invest into marketing, to kind of pay it forward, as Bob was saying earlier, instead of rewarding yourself now, pay it forward, grow that nest egg even bigger for next year. Digital marketing is a great space to do it, whether it's with Intrix or another firm. Hopefully there's some ideas in here that get you thinking, and maybe some spots you can throw that money before the end of the year for you, and be smart with it. So with that said, Sue, you want to wrap up the episode here for us?
Sounds great. If you remember one thing and one thing only, remember this. Remember that as business owners, you have the opportunity to reduce taxes by making investment in marketing between now and the end of the year. Marketing is an IRS recognized expense and can be used to your advantage. You can think about this in terms of a new or an updated logo, website redo or update, prepaying your SEO initiatives for next year now, or prepaying other marketing work and initiatives that you want to have done next year with this year's budget, or this year's within this year 2023, if it helps reduce your taxes for next year. I was also thinking that we have this mindset, Jesse and Bob, because at Intrix, our clients pay month to month, whereas at other firms, I have heard from business owners that they are asked/required to pay a year ahead of time. So I just wanted to put out there that when we keep saying or keep throwing in there, prepay your marketing subscription, your SEO, that's because our frame of mind is you're paying it month to month, because that's what our clients do here.
That's a great point, Sue. And if you're tired of paying yearly and you want to pay month to month, give Sue a call. She'll talk to you.
Okay, to end this part with the quote of the day, in the world of internet customer service, it's important for us all to remember your competitor is only one mouse click away. That is such a scary thought, but it's reality. That's the world we live in today. So thank you, Doug Warner, for that quote. Thank you, Jesse and Bob. I think this is a great, great, great topic as we roll into the month of December and year-end approaches, as well as year-end budgeting and next year's taxes.
Nailed it. I think that's good, everybody. Depending on when we drop this, it's going to be towards the end of the year, so hopefully everybody's had a good 2023. Looking forward to a good 2024, and if we can help you out, get a hold of us. If not, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we gave you some good ideas for now and for the future. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Bob. Everybody else, we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Sounds good.
Have a good one.